and welcome to Medicoemia. This is my first video and I hope you like it. So today's topic is menstrual cycle, normal physiology of how the menstrual cycle occurs or what happens in that. So what happens is in the starting, the hypothalamus starts releasing the gonadotropin releasing hormone, which stimulates the anterior pituitary gland and causes the release of follicular stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. So what these two hormones do is they go to the ovary and there they help in the maturation of the follicles so as to help in release of the egg and causing the ovulation. So in the menstrual cycle there are two phases, the follicular phase which is from the 0th day to the 14th day, and then there is a luteal phase which is from 14th day to 20th day. So what happens here? Basically, if we plot the hormonal graph against the days, so here you can see there is a hormonal graph which is telling the values of the FSH, GnRH, LH against the days, which is 0, 7th, 10th, 14th, 21st and 28th day. So before 14th day, whatever there is, we call it the follicular phase, and after 14th day we call it the luteal phase. So what happens in the follicular phases, as I told you earlier, the hypothalamus releases gonadotropin releasing hormone which stimulates anterior pituitary gland to release FSH and LH. The FSH causes the stimulates the primary follicles which are in the ovary, and converts them into the secondary follicle. So as the primary follicles matures into the secondary follicles, they releases the estrogen. So as the estrogen level rises, estrogen has a negative feedback effect on the luteinizing hormone in the in the low concentrations. So basically when the concentration of the estrogen is low, which is until the 10th day, the level of the luteinizing hormone is continuously, as you can see in the graph, is steady. It is steady and it is not going down because the GnRH is still being released from the hypothalamus. Now on the FSH, the estrogen has a negative feedback because FSH basically is released when the estrogen levels are low. So as the estrogen levels rises, the FSH level goes down. So what are the functions? So what happens on the 10th day is the concentration of the estrogen level is now at its I won't say peak, but it is continuously rising. So as the concentration becomes higher and higher, the LH surge starts at the 10th day, and this LH surge is important because it helps in the release of the ovum from the follicle. So that happens by the 14th day. So after 14th day, there is no need for the LH, there is no need for the FSH because the follicular phase has been over. But before that, what is the function of estrogen? Because estrogen, as we know that yes, it helps at a greater concentration, it helps in the release of the luteinizing hormones, which is necessary for the follicle active, for the release of the ovum and causing of the ovulation at the 14th day. But what are the other functions? So the estrogen basically helps in the muscle growth, it helps in the proliferation of the endometrial lining of the uterus. It also maintains the secondary character of the female, and it helps in maintaining the glandular activity. So after 14th day, what happens is what happens is the level of the, as we know that the level of the LH, the work of the LH has been done. So the LH level starts to fall. So as for the GnRH and for the FSH. But what happens here? The follicle which the egg has been released. So the empty secondary follicle converts into the corpus luteum, and hence it marks the luteal phase. That's where the name comes from. So in the luteal phase, the corpus luteum releases three hormones. That is the estrogen, which is already present there. The second is the progesterone, and third is the inhibin. So the progesterone level, as you can see in the graph, starts to decrease because the corpus luteum does not secrete as much estrogen as the secondary follicles used to. The second important hormone here is the progesterone. What's the function of the progesterone? So first, it has the negative feedback on both FSH and LH, and as we know in the luteal phase, there is no need of the follicular stimulating hormone or the luteinizing hormone. So both of these hormones level are decreased. What's the second function of the progesterone? The progesterone helps in stimulation of the secondary, helps in the endometrial gland secretory activity. So it stimulates the endometrial gland to increase in the mucus secretion. What's the function of this mucus secretion? So basically this mucus secretion prevents the sperm penetration. So if one sperm has already penetrated the ovum and has fertilized it, the second sperm won't be able to penetrate it on the further intercourse. So that's why we say that the effective fertilization time actually is just 12 to 24 hours after the ovulation till the progesterone levels are low. What's the third function? So that is basically the secondary function. It maintains the endometrial lining also along with the estrogen. But okay, we are not talking about the after the fertilization occurs. We are talking about the normal menstrual cycle. So what happens if the fertilization does not occur? This corpus luteum then again degrades, and as it degrades, the progesterone level falls. So as the progesterone level falls, I told you the progesterone and estrogen, these help in the uh, maintaining the glandular activity and the lining of the endometrium. So when the level of the progesterone falls, the endometrial lining starts to break up, and as they starts to break up, because the corpus luteum is not there, so there won't be enough estrogen and progesterone, so the endometrial lining will break up, and as it breaks, it causes the menstruation. The second thing is, since the progesterone is not there, there won't be any negative feedback for the for the FSH or LH, so the GnRH level is also, after that, by that time the GnRH level also rises, which helps in increasing of the FSH and LH concentration. So this marks the next menstrual cycle. I hope that you guys understood it, and this is since my first video, so I am a little bit nervous about it, but I hope you guys liked it and understood the concept. If there any doubt, you can ask me in the comments, or if any suggestion, you are most welcome. Please give it.